The sun broke through the window, casting a golden light across the room, illuminating the dust particles that danced in the air. It was a new day, yet the echoes of yesterday lingered in the corners of her mind. Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, her heart heavy with the weight of memories that felt like chains wrapped tightly around her. The past had been a relentless companion, whispering doubts and fears into her ear. It told her she was not enough, that she would never escape the shadows of her history. But today, something felt different. Today, she could feel the stirrings of change. With a deep breath, she rose and moved towards the mirror. The reflection staring back was familiar, yet foreign, a visage marked by struggle, but also by resilience. She had spent years allowing her past to define her, to dictate her choices, and limit her potential. The scars of betrayal, loss, and disappointment were etched into her soul, but they did not have to be the sum of her existence. She had spent too long in the prison of her own making, and it was time to break free. As she prepared for the day, she recalled the moments that had held her captive, the relationship that had shattered her trust, the dreams that had been stifled by fear, the opportunities she had let slip away because she believed she was unworthy. Each memory was a thread woven into the fabric of her identity. But today she decided to unravel that fabric, one stitch at a time. Her first step towards liberation came with a simple act. She opened the window. The fresh air rushed in, filling the room with the scent of possibility. It was as if the universe was inviting her to breathe deeply, to let go of the stale air that had accumulated over the years. She looked out at the world beyond, at the trees swaying in the breeze, and the sky painted with hues of blue. It was a reminder that life continued, that the world was alive with opportunities waiting to be seized. Determined to embrace this new beginning, Sarah grabbed a notebook and pen. She had always found solace in writing, a way to express the chaos within her. As she put pen to paper, she began to list everything that had held her back: the moments of self-doubt, the fear of failure, the burdens of guilt and regret. Each word felt like a release, a cathartic act of letting go. She wrote until her hand ached, pouring out the pain and frustration that had been bottled up for so long. Once the page was filled, she took a moment to reflect. These were not just memories, they were lessons. Each experience had shaped her, yes, but they did not dictate her future. She realized that the power to redefine her narrative lay within her. She could choose to see her past, not as a prison, but as a foundation upon which to build something new. With that realization, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. The next step in her journey was to confront the relationships that had perpetuated her feelings of inadequacy. It was time to have difficult conversations, to express her truth and reclaim her voice. She reached out to her closest friend, the one who had stood by her side through the tumultuous years. They met at a small cafe, the smell of freshly brewed coffee filling the air, a comforting backdrop for the conversation that lay ahead. As they spoke, Sarah laid bare her struggles, her fears, and her desire to break free from the past. Her friend listened intently, offering support and understanding. It was liberating to share her truth, to unburden herself of the weight she had carried for so long. In that moment, she realized that vulnerability was not a weakness, it was a strength. It was a step towards authenticity, towards embracing who she truly was, unfiltered and unashamed. With each conversation, she felt the chains of her past begin to loosen. She started to surround herself with people who uplifted her, who encouraged her to pursue her dreams rather than dwell in her fears. She sought out new experiences, from joining a painting class to volunteering at a local shelter. Each new endeavor was a chance to redefine herself, to explore the facets of her identity that had been overshadowed by her history. But the most profound change came when she decided to forgive, not only those who had wronged her, but also herself. Forgiveness was not about condoning the past. It was about releasing the hold it had on her. She sat in silence one evening, reflecting on the hurt she had endured and the mistakes she had made. With each breath, she whispered words of forgiveness, allowing the weight of resentment to lift. It was a powerful act of self-liberation, a declaration that she would no longer be defined by the pain of yesterday. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah began to feel lighter, as if the burdens she had carried were finally being shed. She embraced the uncertainty of the future with open arms, no longer shackled by fear. She learned to celebrate her victories, no matter how small, and to view setbacks as opportunities for growth. Each day became a canvas, and she was the artist, free to paint her life in vibrant colors. One morning, as she stood on her balcony, the sun rising in a blaze of orange and pink, she realized that she had transformed. The past no longer haunted her. It was merely a chapter in her story, one that had led her to this moment of clarity and strength. She was no longer a prisoner of her history, but a pioneer of her future, ready to embrace whatever came next. In that moment, Sarah understood that breaking free from the past was not a destination, but a journey. It was about choosing to live authentically, to embrace the full spectrum of her experiences, while refusing to be defined by them. She smiled, knowing that she was finally unburdened, ready to embrace a life of freedom, unencumbered by the shadows of her past.